You shall decree a thing and it shall come to pass. What? Really? Could it be that easy? Well, this was one of the phrases that jumped out at me from Neville Goddard's At Your Command. As I mentioned in the last video, I wanted to start the year by going right back to the beginning where all of this started, which was the first book of The Complete Reader by Neville Goddard, At Your Command. And this was one of the phrases that jumped out. And I wanted to go through this phrase because it is misunderstood like so many of these phrases. You shall decree a thing and it shall come to pass. It sounds like, well, hey, I should just think about something and then it should just like come to pass. Well, there's a little more to it. And also because that phrase isn't telling the whole story, we're going to go into the actual phrase from where that phrase came from. And then we're going to go into the etymology so that this phrase makes so much sense. And you're going to be like, oh, right, it is that easy, but I just need to do this. And I promise you it is easy and it'll make a lot more sense when we go through the etymology. So that's what we're doing today. My name is Hedley, and if you have arrived at this channel, you are in the right place. I am a law of assumption coach, and we are going to go through these law of assumption teachings thanks to the wonderful Neville Goddard, who has left us quite a legacy. So if you'd like to know more about me or my offerings, including one-to-one coaching, my self-concept course, or my book, I Am Money, Assume a New Story and Enjoy More Money, you will find all of those details in the box below this video. And I have one little tiny favor to ask you. If you are enjoying this video, if you are enjoying my channel, please do press that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up and leave a positive comment. That would be very much appreciated. So before we get into today's video, I did want to mention what is happening in Los Angeles. Los Angeles used to be my home. I lived there for 2 years. I was absolutely in love with the city. It holds a very special place in my heart. So it is very heartbreaking to see what is happening in Los Angeles and to see so many people losing absolutely everything in just a moment, and then just all of the evacuations and then the looting and then just everything that is going on over there. It is absolutely shocking. So I wanted to let you know how I am processing those images and those storylines, and that is when I see them, when I become aware of them, I feel the pain. It's not denying the feelings, but it's then correcting the consciousness that I'm observing. So if I'm seeing somebody who's lost their home, and I've been seeing a lot of that, what I'm saying is I am that person and I am infinitely safe and taken care of, and I am infinitely provided for, and everything is working out in my favor. If I'm seeing the fires, I'm saying I am the fires and I am being put out. If I'm seeing the firefighters, I'm saying I am the firefighters and I'm well rested and well fed and I'm succeeding in my mission. If I'm hearing about the lack of water and the empty fire hydrants, I'm saying I am water and I am in abundance, and I am the fire hydrants and I am full, and I am the hoses and I am full, and I am putting these fires out. So whatever I'm seeing, I'm still acknowledging the reality of what I'm seeing. I'm not in denial of it, but then I'm correcting my consciousness about it, because otherwise, by me just seeing death and destruction and just letting that narrative run, I'm actually contributing to the continuation of that death and destruction narrative. So while I may be aware of it or become aware of it, then it's up to me to recreate it in my consciousness, because I'm the observer of it. And where there is destruction, there is always the potential for reconstruction, but it has to start in consciousness first. And so if you haven't been affected by these LA fires and you are simply observing them, you can be the one to help recreate this for the ones who can't do it for themselves right now because they're in states of loss and shock. So use your I am to help another, and use that I am technique to project out the best possible scenario for that person or for that situation that you are observing. This is where we get to use I am to help others. If you're not sure what the I am technique is, please do go and check out the I am technique playlist, which gives you many instructions of how to actually use the technique. It is incredibly powerful. It's the technique I use all day, every day, because it just continues to work. So why would I use anything else? I am is it. There's nothing above I am. So come back to I am. I am is the savior. It's the miracle maker, and it is the one who can turn things around for these people who have lost everything. But you have to be the one to engage it, because you are, as the I am of your reality, the observer of it, and therefore you have the power to command a new outcome. So with that said, let's get into today's video, which is where we are going to take this phrase that jumped out from At Your Command from The Complete Reader, thanks to the wonderful Neville Goddard. And I wanted to break it down because this is another one of these phrases that has been misunderstood or misinterpreted, and therefore we have lost the meaning of it. And when you understand the meaning of it, it's like, oh my gosh, wow, that makes so much sense. Now I can see why perhaps I have been deciding something and I haven't been receiving it because I haven't been doing this one particular thing. So the phrase that I'm talking about is from At Your Command, where Neville says, you shall decree a thing and it shall come to pass. So I actually went and looked up that phrase in the Bible and I couldn't find it because it wasn't the correct phrase. So I wanted to go back to the original phrase from the Bible, and then we're going to go through the etymology and it's going to make a lot more sense. The phrase is actually from Job, or Job, I don't know how you say it, 22:28, and this is from the King James Version. Thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee, and the light shall shine upon thy ways. It sounds like, well, all I have to do is think about something and then it will be established unto me and the light will just shine away and it will just fall into my lap. Well, that is actually not what this phrase means, and that is perhaps one of the biggest misunderstandings of this work. But let's go back to the beginning where all of this started, which is consciousness is the one and only reality, and reality is the reflection of consciousness. So that leads into what this phrase actually means. Now, thou, that's the archaic pronoun, which simply means you. Shalt actually means must. So you must decree a thing. Decree means decide. So you must decide a thing. And a thing simply means a matter or affair or a circumstance or something in reality. So you must decide a matter. And it shall be established unto thee. So it must be established unto thee. This is where things get interesting, because we think established means it will be established out there in reality. So if I just think of something or I just decide a matter, it will be established unto thee, unto me. So it'll be established for me. So we take that as I just have to decide something and then it's just going to manifest. And then we get all frustrated because that is not actually what happens and that's not how this works. So establish comes from the Latin verb stabilire, which means to make firm, to make stable, or to strengthen. So stabilire is derived from stabilis, meaning firm, steady, stable. What this is actually saying is you must decide on something, a matter, a thing, and it must be established unto thee. Now, unto means into, and thee is again you, second person. So you must decide a thing, a matter, and it must be established into you, in you, within you. The light shall shine upon thy ways, which means the path will be made clear. Ways comes from way, Old English, which means road, path, track, or the course of travel. So when you put all of this together, what this phrase is actually saying is, you must decide a matter, and it must be established within you. And the light must shine on the course of travel. In other words, the action that you will then take. Generally, we're very good with making a decision about something. Okay, I want that person, or I want that car, or I want that house, or I want to be more like this, or I want whatever it is. So I've decided that. And then it must be established within you. So that decision must be made steadfast. It must be stabilized within you. Now that is where all of us fall down. We are not stable in those decisions because the minute reality shows us the opposite, we go, oh, wow, see, it doesn't work. Oh, this is not working. We are not stabilized in our decisions. We're not firm. We're not steadfast. We haven't established the having of that decision within us, and we haven't held it long enough for reality to then reflect it back. Make the decision on what you want. That's the easy part. Then you have to establish the having of it in your imagination. Now, to establish the having of something means to engage all of the senses. So what does the having of that thing look like? What does the having of that thing feel like? What are you hearing? by having that thing? What does it smell like to have that thing? What does it taste like to have that thing? You want to engage all of your 5 senses, and the most important sense is that sense of touch. So if you can't see something clearly, that's okay. You want to engage the sense of touch. And sometimes it doesn't even have to be related to the actual thing. If you're wanting a particular job and you want to establish the having of that job in your imagination, you could be at lunch celebrating, and so the act of touch would be to pick up a glass, whether it's a champagne glass or a water glass, and you actually feel the glass in your hand and you cheers your friend who you're celebrating with. You can feel the weight of the glass in your hand, and you can feel the glass like cheersing against your friend's glass, and then you can taste the water or the champagne on your tongue. And so you really engage those senses in the scene, and that establishes the having of that thing that you have decided is what you're having. So this phrase, you must decide a thing, you must decide what you want, and then it must be established, the having of that thing must be established within yourself, and then and only then the light shall shine upon the course of action that will need to be taken to match you up with that reality. The 2 parts of this that are in your control are the first part. So the deciding of something that you want and the establishing of that thing in consciousness. Then the light shall shine upon the course of action that you need to take. That is the how. And that, as you can see in this phrase, is out of your hands, your control. You do not have to worry about that. The light will do the job and shine the way on that path. You do not have to figure it out. So as soon as you catch yourself thinking, how's this going to happen? You are affirming that it hasn't happened. So you want to come back to the decision that you've made, to the thing that you would like, and then come back to the establishment, stabilizing yourself in the having of it, which happens within yourself, within consciousness, using your 5 senses and your imagination, and then hands off. You must remain stable. You must remain steadfast. You must remain firm in that decision to have that thing, or that person, or that whatever. You have to be stable. Remember how we started this. Reality is nothing more than the reflection of consciousness. So if it's not established in reality, it's because it hasn't been established within yourself. Put yourself back into the state of having what it is that you want. Decide. You must decide, and then you must establish that decision and the having of that thing in yourself. That's it. And then the light shall shine upon the ways. And we do not need to know what the ways are. The light will let us know what it is, and then we can just go, oh, okay, right, now I have to take this action, or I have this amazing idea to take this action. You will not know what that is until it has been established and stabilized within yourself. And that stabilizing is something that we all need to improve on, myself included. I get swayed too by reality. Reality is very enticing. I always come back to who I am, so I know how to pick myself up and dust myself off and be like, hang on a second, I'm the infinite I am of my reality. I know how this game is played, so let's come back, let's start again. This is not always instant. Yeah, it might be instant, but it doesn't matter, because if you're stable and firm and steadfast within yourself, it does not matter when it comes. You know it's already here because you have established it within yourself. You're stable, you're steadfast, and it doesn't matter what reality is doing because you are firm and solid and steadfast within yourself. So go forth and establish your decisions. Oh, Dora. Hello, Baba. Hello. She's coming to say hello. Come and say hello. Is it your walk time? Is it your walk time? Yes, it is. Have a wonderful week, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.